With a new baseline firmly in place, Coach L could see that his team had a real chance for success. What he needed to know from his team was how far did they think they could go.
Even though we only went 16-14 in 2004-2005, all the ingredients were in place to have a phenomenal season in 05 and 06. I believe that so wholeheartedly. I invited one of my very, very dear friends, Dr. Bob Rotella, a world-renowned sports psychologist, to come to George Mason University and speak to our team in October of 05. And he asked them to close their eyes and to dream the biggest dream possible for the team. In a few minutes, Dr. Rotella asked everybody to open their eyes and asked someone volunteer what their dream was. Immediately, Lamar Butler raised his hand and said, "I'd like to share my dream." And Dr. Rotella said, "Okay, Lamar, tell everybody what you think this season could be like." And Lamar said, "I dreamt we went to the Final Four." And Dr. Rotella turned to the team and he kind of eyed everybody up and down and said, "How many of you can buy into Lamar's dream? How many of you think that's even possible?" One by one, the players raised their hand. First, Tony Skinn, one of the senior co-captains, then Jai Lewis. And one by one, every single guy raised his hand. But the month of February was anything but smooth. The first thing that happened is on February 2nd, Follerin Campbell, our starter, our point guard, a sophomore, great young man with tremendous charisma, walked into my office and told me that his grandmother had died. I felt very, very sad for Follerin because his family is just absolutely wonderful and a very, very close-knit group. And Follerin said, "Coach, I'd like permission to go to the funeral." And I said, "Well, of course, Follerin, I would like to go as well. And so I'm sure the other coaches and maybe several members of the team." And he said, "No, Coach, you don't understand. My grandmother, she lives in Nigeria. The funeral's going to be in Nigeria, Africa." And I was like, "What? When is it?" He said, "In 2 weeks." I started thinking to myself, in 2 weeks, we are home against Drexel in the middle of the week, and then we're playing Wichita State in the ESPN Bracket Buster on national television, probably the biggest game that could possibly determine whether or not we're going to be in serious consideration for an NCAA at-large bid. So I called Festus Campbell, Follerin's dad, and asked him if I could stop by the house to pay our condolences. And James Johnson, one of my assistant coaches, joined me on a Tuesday night. We sat down and we watched 2 hours of home video. And Festus would say, "This is me mom, and this is me uncle, and this is me brother." And it was fantastic. And so after watching 2 hours of video, I sat and talked with Festus. I said to him, "Festus, do you know what kind of season we're having?" "Oh yeah, Coach L, very, very good. Great season, great season." I said, "Yes. Do you know where we're ranked in the country right now, Festus?" "Yes, number one, number one." I said, "No, Festus, we're number one in the CAA, not in the whole country. Right now, we're number 35 in the country." He says, "Oh, that's still very good, very good." I said, "And are you familiar with the NCAA tournament?" "Oh yes, the big dance." I said, "Yes, that's the big dance." I said, "We want to be in it." "Oh yes, we want you to be in it. I want Follerin. That's a dream of Follerin's to play in the big dance." I said, "Well, Festus, when Follerin leaves to go to Nigeria with you and your family for your mom's funeral, he's going to miss 2 weeks of school, and he's going to miss practice, and he's going to miss some very, very important games. And quite honestly, Festus, I don't know if we can win without him." And he said, "Coach L, thank you so much." And we left. James Johnson and I got in the car and we talked about the home video we had just watched. But the next day, I got a phone call from Festus. And he said, "Coach L, it's Festus." I said, "Yes, Festus, how can I help you?" He said, "Coach L, I prayed to me mom last night, and she said to me, Follerin has 2 families, his Campbell family and his Mason family. And his Mason family needs him right now, and he should stay and play in the games and come and pay his respects to his grandmother after the season is over, after he's helped his team get to the NCAA tournament.